little bit challenged in the height department. There we go. How does that? More or less? Good enough. But thank you, Levi, for those great words. I'm so honored to share this podium with my good friend Paul Bremer and a good friend of freedom and democracy, the ambassador of Hungary. And I'm delighted to be with so many of you today. It's such a meaningful and significant event. Thank you to Hannah Rosenthal, the U.S. Special Envoy to monitor and combat anti-Semitism. What an important role, responsibility, and task that she has, and we thank her for her work. Let's give it up for the ambassador, Paul Bremer, and As Levi so kindly pointed out, I had the extreme privilege and the rare honor of serving with Congressman Tom Lantos when he chaired our Foreign Affairs Committee, and I was its ranking member. And those were wonderful years for me in Congress, because as a person who had to flee communist Cuba with my family when I was only 8 years old and became a naturalized American, Tom Lantos, we all know his unbelievable biography of being a survivor of the Holocaust, along with his incredible wife, Annette, who was very much a part of that committee as well. We often thought about what a great country this is, that two naturalized Americans are heading the Foreign Affairs Committee and helping to shape America's role in the world. And it says so much about the great opportunities available to everyone in this terrific and wonderful and open country. And of course, I now have this is the monk in me to try to straighten that out. Obsessive compulsive. But I now have that same position that Tom Lantos had, chairing the Foreign Affairs Committee, but I don't have the gravitas. I don't have everything that Tom Lantos brought into his role, but I happen to have the gavel. But I think about him every day that I chair that committee, and I miss him every day. And I know that all of you miss him as well, because he was such an important individual. Every one of us is important, whatever you do. But he was the conscience of the House, and we will never have another Holocaust survivor serving in Congress. He was unique, and I know that there was a wonderful opening in Budapest just a little while ago. That the ambassador was there, obviously, the Lantos Institute in Hungary, and so many of you were probably there as well. But I had an opportunity to speak about Tom Lantos just a few weeks ago as we unveiled his portrait for the House Foreign Affairs Committee, and it was a beautiful portrait. I think it captured the essence of Tom Lantos, the steely gaze, which showed the resolve that he always had, but something warm about that portrait. He had his wonderful dog who was always with him, and then behind him was a portrait of Annette and Tom, because they were soulmates throughout their entire lives, and then Wallenberg's portrait behind him, and then the map of the world. And I think that portrait captured the essence of Tom Lantos, just as this great institute captures the essence of Lantos. And that's why I'm so happy to be here this morning with all of you, because it's always a privilege for me to be present and to support Tom's legacy, and that is a legacy of unequivocal support for human rights everywhere, tolerance everywhere, and unequivocal opposition to those who seek to extinguish human freedom, for they are still present among us. And Tom was deeply committed, as all of us know, to the fight against anti-Semitism and Holocaust denial, and sadly, that still goes on, incredibly so. He knew that hateful words had consequences, and that Ahmadinejad and many others who deny the Holocaust often seek to repeat that genocide. And so 2 years ago, the Tom Lantos Foundation, which was established by Tom's amazing Annette after he passed away, teamed up with the Middle East Media Research Institute to establish this archive. And these archives chronicle anti-Semitism and Holocaust denial in the Middle East and elsewhere, and they provide us the tools that we need to fight this venom. These translated documents provide important first-hand information regarding the surge of global anti-Semitism. And additionally, these archives honor those in the Muslim and the Arab worlds who bravely combat anti-Semitism. The fight against anti-Semitism and Holocaust denial is far from over. And as we see these dangers ever present throughout the world. But these archives are indicative of the fact that we have the tools to fight this fight successfully. These efforts are needed now more than ever as the Iranian regime draws ever closer to having the nuclear weapons that it seeks in order to make good on its genocidal threats to wipe Israel off the map and to achieve what they call a world without America and a world without Zionism. So we must reaffirm and ensure that never again is not an expression of the past, as sacred as it is, but it is a sacred responsibility of today. It is a call to action. As part of this pledge, we must continue to fight for justice for victims of the Holocaust. And it is a sad reality that many are still being hurt by those complicit in the horrors of that period. My colleague, Congressman Ted Deutsch, and I have introduced legislation, and I hope that you will help us with passing this, that will affirm the legal rights of Holocaust survivors so that they can have their day in court against insurance companies that seek to profit from the policies of these Holocaust victims. And as we move forward, we wish that we still had Tom with us, fighting by our side. We miss his presence, his leadership, his courage, his steely resolve, his principled convictions every day. But thanks to everyone involved in the Lantos Foundation and the Middle East Media Research Institute, we will continue, however humbly, to carry on Tom's fight and advance his legacy. So I thank you for this event today. I thank you for the encouragement that it gives us to reaffirm that the battle is joined, the battle continues, the fight rages on, and it is up to each and every one of us to counter those denials. So thank you, Levi. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you, all of you, for being here today. It's an important fight. Muchas gracias.